Hello everybody, welcome back to Language, Litigation, and Integration, Part 141, Student Debt Forgiveness. We have another casual conversations type of episode with a focus on the student debt forgiveness that was just announced. We'll be discussing the legality, the morality, and the economics of that. First and foremost, so important, it got its own title for a video. Again, up to 44 subscribers on YouTube, blowing up. Still, we don't have a family, don't have access to healthcare, don't have access to any part of society. So we're going to talk about fairness. Yeah. But Joe Biden cancels $10,000 for most borrowers of student loans, $20,000 for people who received a Pell Grant. So the first thing I want to talk about is just the economics of debt forgiveness. As I watched the Ben Shapiro hot take about it just now. I'm looking up a Bible quote. All right, Ben Shapiro of the Ben Shapiro, the man well-grounded in history and traditional values, the man that's so for the Bible. Yeah, let's just have a quick gander at our historical references for debt forgiveness. At the end of every 7 years, you must cancel debts. And that is Deuteronomy 15:1 as a historian and fuck the Bible. But again, it's literally historical law. Like that's what it is. And again, I don't give a fuck. It's not like, let's look into the history, it's way better. But do we have a historical precedent for debt forgiveness? Oh, most certainly we do every 7 years. And so I just wanted to start with that historical fact for Ben Shapiro, the great biblical and historical scholar. But a couple kind of things just that came to mind for me. First and foremost, $10,000. I saw at the end of Ben Shapiro's clip, there's this kid, this like biker looking dude. He's like, we worked hard, we did the right thing, and now if we paid off of our debts, what do we get? What do we get? What about me? Me. 10 grand? 10 fucking thousand fucking dollars. 10, this many dollars, this many US dollars. Do something. Do something. If you care about $10,000 in any capacity whatsoever, do something. Or go feed an alligator. Alligators are happy. They're hungry. They don't need $10,000. So if you need 10K, go feed a fucking alligator. Anybody. Just fucking any adult that needs 10 grand, go feed a fucking alligator. But, right, and now, past the historical fact, who, on a personal level, let's just start with a personal level, right? People get really convoluted with their values, which they don't have at a scale level, with a bunch of people involved. But on a personal level, anybody watching this video, what money are you willing to lend to somebody else? Money you expect to never get back. And so the opposite kind of argument, again, I'm 0% political. I think politics is brain cancer in general. I'm a man of practicality and what makes sense. And again, nobody knows that. Nobody can functionally analyze economics like I can. 0% at all. Everyone deals with money, they think they know what to do, and then they just interject it and say Republican, Democrat, values, morals, fairness, and they're just incompetent. And so, right, a couple kind of things. You have private lenders and public lenders. So private debts are not capable. But in general, from the simple fact that as an individual person, if I give somebody some money, I really don't expect to get it back. I would absolutely like to get it back with interest, right? I invested in a bar and a restaurant, put $55,000 as an investment. I haven't got anything back to it. If the business goes to zero, I get nothing back. So who's going to pay for that? Nothing. Debt issuance is a risk. So, from an economics perspective, if you issue debt, you have to understand that debt may never come back to you at all. Just 0% chance. So when they're talking about fairness in economics, again, if I give you $10 and then I say you don't have to pay me $10 back, Joe over there is not paying you $10 because I didn't pay you back. The debt is just forgiven. So now then that goes to who's issuing the debt, right? If you have a private lender, let's just say your uncle says, hey man, I believe in your college expenses. You know, here's $100K to go invest in your education. I hope I get it back at someday, and I do want it back. But really, it's just the person issuing the debt is the one taking on the risk. And so, from a society standpoint, personal debt is the thing that weighs on your mind the most. So, practically, what makes sense? Society, we need to change sentiment. We need to improve quality of life. So again, I laugh in the face of anyone who gives a fuck about $10,000. But if you're going to leave some debt, it improves the mood of the people. One less person gets super stressed out that day and go shoot somebody. One less fucking person go break into your car or steal something. One less person to push an old Asian lady onto the train tracks at the New York subway. One less person to do that. So that is less financial debt, less financial stress, less erratic behavior, period. And again, I don't give a fuck about $10,000. And let's steel man the opposite argument. And obviously, again, I'm for some, to me, I see this as super, super neutral. From a historical and from a functioning society standpoint, canceling debt at all is always good. From the simple individual standpoint of people with less debt have less stress, period. And so, now, from a private or public lender, again, if the federal government gives you $25,000, $100,000 to go to a public university, there's got to be a way where the federal government subsidizes Ohio State University so much where they can make up the money in that way, even if it's a private lender. And so I'm certainly for debt forgiveness. Again, as someone who's giving people money, if you lend money, if you invest money, if you loan it in any way, there's a good chance you never get it back at all. And if someone forgives a debt, nobody else is covering that cost. Makes no sense whatsoever. Again, $10,000 is hilariously stupid. Because again, like I said, the fluster, he gave $100,000 of debt, and I give $90,000 of debt. So if you care about $10,000, you're still not making that much fucking progress. So again, it's just privileged people left and right trying just to have values and trying to have some sort of contribution to society. But is there legal power to do so? Pelosi says no. Again, this is mainly going off of Ben Shapiro's, again, my original analysis, but the pop thing I watched was Ben Shapiro's thing about it. But I looked into it, and executive orders are actually pretty, like just in general, not student loan executive orders, but executive orders are pretty not constitutionally founded at all. It is, let me pull up the, it says, reading off Wikipedia, in the United States, an executive order is a directive by the President of the United States that manages operations of the federal government. The legal or constitutional basis for executive orders has multiple sources. Article 2 of the United States Constitution gives presidents broad executive and enforcement authority to use their discretion to determine how to enforce the law or to otherwise manage the resources of the staff or the executive branch. And so again, the initial thing would be, our elected officials have to pass, Congress has to pass a law saying that the constituents want that. So the executive orders have the ability to enforce that piece. And then again, I'm not a strict constitutionalist, I'm a strict make society fucking work-ist. But then it says, otherwise manage the resources and staff of the executive branch. So you would have authority, if, again, at least through public universities, of, I don't know how the Department of Education is that in the executive branch, but there's got to be some way where federal governments are subsidizing or helping major state universities in general. So I would certainly see, again, if the Department of Education is in the executive branch. But again, I'm so fucking over this precedent of the interpretation of law in the United States. Just make shit fucking work, and you guys can't do anything properly. So, but my point in general is, after reading through this, and I read the whole thing, but it doesn't really, it says based in the Constitution. Article 2, Section 1, Clause 1 of the Constitution simply states, the executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States of America. Sections 2 and 3 describe the various powers and duties of the president, including, quote, he shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed. Again, we've read the entire Constitution. I've read it multiple times. I've read it publicly on this lecture series. But reading that I don't read that and say, he can issue statements and say, this is how you do something just in general. Again, even without if Congress has passed some bit of legislation basically saying you have to do this. So the constitutional basis for executive orders in general seems pretty lackluster. And the most famous one was the Emancipation Proclamation. But there's no general form to these things. There's no general formality. Just basically the president saying, here's my values, here's our law, and here's what you should do. And then people just say, yep, president, go, go, go. And so looking just through who issued the most, a lot of these people, Theodore Roosevelt, over 1,000. Woodrow Wilson, 1,800. Franklin D. Roosevelt, 3,700. That was the most. So that's just like a just shock value number. Then there's 365 days in a year, so that's like 4 days for Franklin D. Roosevelt or some shit. Just freestyling off the top of my head. But so is there legal power to do so? I don't really think there's much legal power for executive orders. So, but again, I'm not a strict. It doesn't say it's like our Constitution is fucking ass shit. It's basically a couple paragraphs how to set up Congress and a bunch of shitty words. So it's like, if I read it and start short-circuiting, I can't process anything. And Jesus fuck. So Ben Shapiro says there's no constitutional basis. Again, there's no constitution. There are no laws. From a personal standpoint, never had college debt. I couldn't go to college. I went to college. They wouldn't let me do scientific research. I'm a high earner. I went and sold drugs because I wasn't allowed to invest my money properly, and I still can't access society in any meaningful fucking way. So that's the economics of it. It absolutely makes sense to forgive debt in general. In general, if you give somebody some money, you are the one accepting the risk. And again, I absolutely think if you take money, you should be able to pay it back. But again, I am not in college. Fuck my entire fucking life entirely. But I do think in comparing business loans, right? They compare PPP. There's a bunch of people. I screenshotted it. A bunch of people had taken PPP loans that are. Obviously, did not have anything pulled up. So let's see if we can find that while I'm talking. But then our good old Ben Shapiro makes this exact argument the wrong way. He says business loans are extremely different than school loans. Correct. There's not an extremely societal sentiment to start a business. There's some to be an entrepreneur, but again, as a 18-year-old going into college, if my parents wouldn't have paid for my college, I almost certainly would have taken on debt with no understanding what the fuck I was doing. None, zero. So the whole society set up of have kids take on $100,000 to $200,000, $300,000 debt with no fucking real clue to do that. It's not really consent. It's not really saying I'm fully informed of what I am doing, and therefore I'm throwing away my responsibilities to not pay this debt back. So there is 100% as someone who has no value to school, who did extremely well in all school, who again every university on this planet is stealing this video right now. They're probably literally streaming it right off my phone right now. So it's like everyone's stealing from me. What's fair? Stealing all of Brad's life research, feeding our kids, starting businesses, starting families, then worrying about $10,000 fucking dollars. But there is absolutely a societal sentimental factor of you should go to college, it's responsible. All of our parents want our kids to have better lives than us, but not really, because they don't want us to do better than them, like my mom told me. But we want to have gossip for our friends that our kids are doing well, so go to college. And so there absolutely is a societal consideration of people don't really know what type of money they're taking on for debt, for student loans as opposed to businesses, where you absolutely have to know what you're doing to get into a fucking business. And so there's a couple of the wonderful people. Let's see if Representative Vern Buchanan. As a blue-collar kid who worked his way through college, I know firsthand the sacrifices people make to receive an education. Congressman Vern Buchanan had over $2.3 million in PPP loans forgiven. Mark Mullen, we do not need farmers and ranchers, small business owners and teachers in Oklahoma paying the debts of Ivy League lawyers and doctors across the U.S. Congressman Mark Wayne Mullen had over $1.4 million in PPP loans forgiven. And again, I'm 100% for private lenders forgiving loans. 100%. And so again, the only economic argument is if you have a private lender refusing to forgive a debt that would make somebody else to pay for that. And again, it's not that private lender is not going to get taxpayer money. You stupid fucks. You stupid fucks. They would have to sue the people that owe them money. If they don't have any money, what the fuck are they going to get? Right? You see it all the time. This judge has issued this settlement, and that person has $20 in his pocket. You want $50 million? You owe him $50 million. Oh, I got $20. Got that Jackson, maybe a Ben Frank, but that's about it. So who's going to pay for that? People. Again, these are our educated elected officials. Representative Kevin Hern, to recap, in the last 2 weeks, the party of the people, in quotes, has supercharged the IRS to go after working class Americans, raise their taxes, and force them to pay for other people's college degrees. Economically nonsense. Congressman Kevin Hern had over $1 million in PPP loans forgiven. Mike Kelly, asking plumbers and carpenters to pay off the loans of Wall Street advisors and lawyers isn't just unfair, it's also bad policy. Congressman Mike Kelly had $987,000 in PPP loans forgiven. And it goes on and on. Matt Gaetz is up next. $482,000 forgiven in PPP loans. Absolutely, education is more incentivized into our society than starting a fucking business or maintaining a business. Your business go to zero, you can start over, you can get another fucking business. Not unless you're fucking me, then you can't do anything. But the economics is just nonsense out of all of these people, and the hypocrisy. Once you fucking do this shit, you should immediately be like kicked out of Congress. You just no longer be a thing. If you are a demonstrable hypocrite, you're selfish and you're demonstrating insecurity in a group of people. That is what is occurring 100% of the time. So that's what I think of that, and the morality again. Like oh, he can't get ahead of me mentality. Oh, I paid off mine. I don't get anything. I get 10K. Broke pieces of shit. Hardworking Americans get dumb fucking apes. 10 grand. Kill yourself. But again, I don't think the legality for executive orders is all that established. I am not a strict constitutionalist. So that's my thoughts on those things right there. I'm going to move on just to more regular casual conversations, talking points. So we recently had the daughter of Russian elite killed in a car bomb, Dugin. I don't know what to say about that. Again, obviously you can't really trust too much on the reporting of what Russia says what happens, and how do you get reliable information of like who did it, who was planting dirty bombs on the whip. There's a video of the guy, oh no, my kid's dead now. We're sending mortar shells right over now. Oh, there goes a Ukrainian kid. Help, he's got split in two. His arm's going over here. His head's still some light flickering in his eyes going over here. I have no idea what's happened. He's bleeding out from his leg. He's just sitting there. He's like, oh, I was just trying to play with my babushka. Now I'm gonna die in 2 seconds. Oh, my kid gets blown up. Oh, what happens? Hypocrites. This is the reality of our actions, boys and girls. And so the daughter was on TV recently saying, people in the West are living in a dream. Looks like you're in dreamland now, Dugin. I really don't want to say about that. Saw some pathetic, I'll get to that, I gotta pull up some more Reddit posts. But I saw one, again, just more, I'll get through the talking points and then some stories and commentary about pathetic people. But the Singapore government, this is the exact Reddit title, Singapore government to repeal section 377A, a penal code that criminalizes gay sex between men. And again, that's the actual title, and as always, this is one of the Reddit titles. You absolutely know what the top comment's going to be. Like the other types of sex between men that isn't gay, or something to that effect. And of course it had it written down before it happened. But again, it's funny to see people like write sentences. These are the people that we've forgiven our debts for, which you should do. But then they try to type words and they're apes, and prepositions, and nouns, and adjectives, and direct objects. Where do they go? Oh my gosh! And then you have to read like a title like 7 times to figure out what they're talking about. And you're like, what? And it happens all the fucking time. But the actual action of repealing the gay sex between the gay men's buttholes. Good job, Singapore. Watch. Our behavior is consolidating to common law once again. Our actual legal statute are now reflecting human behavior. And just wait till we realize cannabis and all drugs should be legalized. And we're still executing people for drug trafficking because we're just hypocrites. And we're just all hypocrites. Americans, Russians, Singaporeans. I don't know. What's another? Chadians, like the country of Chad. I don't know, just throw in some African countries. Zimbabwe. But, yeah, obviously, love is love, but people should be able to do what the fuck they want as long as it doesn't affect another fucking person. Columbus City schools. Teachers go on strike right before the school started. So that was interesting because the high school I went to was in Columbus City Schools District. It's obviously not was not a public school. I don't say obviously, but it was not a public school. So I don't think DeSales High School or the Columbus Catholic Schools teachers went on strike. I don't think you can. Do you have unions in private companies or organizations? Probably big enough ones, but probably not. I don't know. Teachers. That's a pretty broad thing. I just don't know. Thinking out loud. No, they went on strike. There was some resolution pretty quick. I think it was done in a day or two. So I just union up, get some higher paychecks. Start that 10K, baby. We need $10,000 more. Wah! 10 grand. Oh, Anthony Fauci to retire from the federal government. The Fauci effect. The man, the science. The man who is literally science. I am not Anthony Fauci. I am science. The Fauci effect. Yeah, he hypes people up to go to school. And again, everyone, all the fucking anti-vaxxers, anti-science idiots are like, oh, here's theirs, good riddance, don't let the door hit you on the way out. And the federal government and all private companies are stealing from me and distributing my property, and I'm proving things. And again, I put proofs in front of people's faces, demonstrating to them in conversations hundreds of thousands of times, and people just shut down whatever they want to shut down. And then they go right back to talking about their insecurities and they share with their group. Anthony Fauci's the CDC changed their guidance for COVID. Again, because of whiny fucking babies. Again, I'm not going to go over the COVID shit again. But Fuck Fauci for being a fucking thief, and just fuck all the extreme political responses on both sides for any talking point is just insane to me. But it's not insane. I just want to leave, which I still can't do. I don't give a fuck about this country. I don't give a fuck about humanity. I want a nice estate and the fuck off of this place. Just like out of the fucking... Bro, I've said at some point I'll probably... I don't know if I'll stop doing these things. Because I like making videos. Again, I don't make videos to try to... Again, I have 513 YouTube videos and 44 subscribers, and my average view count I think is 5. I think I might have like maybe 5 to 8 videos with more than 100 views. Maybe 10. Maybe 10 videos with more than 100 views. So as you said, I'm really pulling in a big audience. But like I said, I just don't give a fuck about human beings. You guys can't behave. And the general thing is, the more people that don't know how to behave that actually die off, the faster the sentiment of the species will actually change. Just historical and fucking biological fact. Panic attacks are fake privilege. Oh, I'm so scared, I'm so uncomfortable, I'm so privileged, I want some entitlement. Has anybody ever died from a panic attack? No, because they're not real. They're just awareness. And then people that are so insecure they can't handle the behavior freak out. Mexican journalist killed hours after publishing story about local officials' involvement in the disappearance of 43 students who went missing in 2014. So again, when I have cops running around my house screaming out the window, stop calling our bosses for public record, when I have cops coming to my door at my parents' house saying, stop with the emails, a couple degenerates away, and then they're just gonna blow up the journalist. So I don't feel safe again. It's not like I feel physically violence, but it's really like 1 or 2 removed from this type of shit. It's just like I just don't give a fuck. Like I have never lived a day of my life. If anyone ever watches this video at any point in time, to this minute of this day, I've never experienced excitement. I've never experienced happiness. I've never made a relationship in any capacity with anyone. I've never fit into a group of people. And I'm socially isolated to the point where I can't fucking eat properly. And I just get through it. And there's something to get through too. It's just tomorrow's the same shit because people don't change. But yeah, obviously atrocious for freedom, but there is no freedom, there are no laws anywhere. But just again, people fuck up and they're degenerates, they're primal, and they're gonna threaten to, they're gonna kill you. Oh, you can't talk about how we killed kids. And it was like they delivered 43 kids to like the fucking cartels, and then he was like killed hours after that. Like this was in 2014, but the story was just atrocious. But again, we are brutal animals on a fucking rock, and people don't play fair. Not with anything. Whatever the rules are, if you can't beat them, join them. But they won't let you join them, so it's just like suffer. Sweet. Feds bust Bonanno and Genovese for wide-ranging gambling operations. So Michael Franzese video about this. Gambling should not be illegal. Just categorically statement. It doesn't affect anybody. Again, now where does the sentiment of why gambling is illegal come from? Addiction. Addiction is bad. 1964. Oh my gosh. Drugs are the worst thing ever. Categorically lump something into a big statement. Not differentiate from biological attenuations or consequences or reactions. Just drugs are bad. And then what do you do with drugs? You get addicted. And then what happens with gambling? You get addicted. So gambling, bad thing. No, it's consent. If I get in a car drunk and hit somebody, that kills somebody. If I get in a gambling debt and I'm with the mob, well, maybe they might whack me, but does that affect anybody else? No. So gambling is a consentful activity that does not affect anybody. And the sentiment of why it's illegal is bad thing. Oh my gosh, we need a perfect society, right? Singapore, no drugs, no gambling, just Jesus and helping one another, and fat people can't pay their bills. America, baby. Yeah, absolutely should be legal. It basically seemed like I didn't read into it much, but the way Michael Franzese talked about it was like poker games, which is absolutely just fucking atrocious. Just fucking stupid. The bails were set at $150,000 to $2 million fucking dollars. Gambling should be legal. Prosecuting this type of fucking crime is, to me, is just fucking stupid and atrocious. As a lawman, this is fucking stupid. What is the implication of organized crime still existing today? Again, behavior is consolidating or statute is consolidating to behavior. Now, street dudes, they're street smart. You fuck up, you're gonna get beat the fuck up. You fuck up, you're gonna get fucking killed. And so all these privileged people who are worried about $10,000 in student debt have never had to go to a fucking drug deal before. It's just a level of privilege. I don't get it. I just don't get it. And and then I've also heard Michael Franzese say on a different video that they're not doing that anymore, talking about murdering people, at least not rampantly. So again, like mob dude, killing mob dude, consent, I'm a man of consent. Whatever the fuck people sign up for, I don't care what happens. I don't care. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Absolutely fucking atrocious. Laws unenforced is not a country with laws. Michael Franzese, exactly. We do not have any laws. There are no laws at all. Everybody's fucking a part of a conspiracy for real, a real racket to suppress my information, direct violation of human rights organizations, Declaration of Human Rights, U.S. Constitution, basic human dignity, and there are no laws in this country. Historically, if you say there are fucking laws in this fucking country, you are being sued for it. Where is it? Vanessa Bryant received $16 million settlement over plane crash photos. So again, she sees photos of her dead husband and daughter, and now that causes her emotional damage, and that's $16 million for seeing pictures. You guys have destroyed my entire life every minute of every day. So let's start putting zeros on that shit. It's actually going to be a pretty long video. A Florida postal carrier is dead after she was mauled by 5 dogs. What should owner culpability be? Should be pretty high. I mean, if you buy animals, you don't train them or don't have them properly secured or locked down. And you say, oh, I know my dog. They're not going to do anything like a bunch of boomers do. They're animals. So if you don't control them, you should have some sort of culpability. It would just depend case by case. No jail time for a hit-and-run driver who killed prospective NYU student. He blamed a panic attack for fleeing. This was a case ruled on by Judge Richard Ombro, and the criminal was Daniel Campbell. So when I say panic attacks for fleeing, privilege. Oh, but I'm driving my car, and even if it's an accident, someone actually genuinely, I didn't read super into the case. But if you accidentally hit somebody, like the pedestrian was at fault. They jump in front of your car, you're doing nothing wrong, you're not texting, you're not switching the radio, you're driving your car 10 and 9 or 3 and 6 or whatever the fuck, and you hit the person and you're generally not culpable, you should be able to stay there and call for help. So he drives down the road a little bit, gets out, and says, I have a panic attack, and left. And the judge says no jail time at all. And so the person died, and fleeing the scene. Yeah, I would do some jail time. I did read some of the case. I don't have it pulled up, but again, I have to look at the details a little more. But you should be able to stay on scene if you hit somebody, regardless. But I do think he was at fault for hitting him. I don't think the pedestrian was. So I would do some jail time for hit and runs. We had somebody, Lennon, DeSales, as a track coach. I think he died from a hit and run. And the chick fled, hit the car and shit. So I don't know if you want to look into another case that should be out there somewhere if you Google it. Liv Boree says never to show your cards in poker on Lex number 314. Absolutely false. Absolutely fucking false. She does absolutely false. Show your cards. It's way better. She says to extract more information out of the other player. The key of poker is to extract more information out of the other player while giving away the least. Nope. It's have the least probabilistic hand and get the most out and make the most amount of chips with that least probabilistic hand after you acquire it. Fundamental theorem of poker, you can't bluff a winning hand. You just can't. If you flip over the cards at the end of the game, then whoever has the highest pair or the highest hand wins. And so when you show your cards, you give other people information that you can use against them, right? If I show you exactly what I'm doing, and then I want to switch it up a little bit. I want to bet heavier than I normally do. I want to bluff completely. I want to bet lighter than I normally do. It gives you way more way to modify your playing strategy as the game goes on, as opposed to if people don't see your cards, they don't know what you're doing. You might be winning, but you can't manipulate the table as well, or substantially less. I'm talking 80% less. And I play them online, and it's still substantial. So I do want to do some live streaming of just talking through poker games, every thought I think, because just writing down some betting insights isn't like it's not all the things that go through my head in decision making on poker. But she says poker players are on average more honest than most. More reason to show your cards, so then you can manipulate them more easily. Once you know exactly what I think I'm going to do, once you know exactly what you think I am doing, I'm going to take all your chips and win the game. Woo! That's about it. Oh, just one more thing. I watched PBD number 179 for about a minute. Exorcisms are on the rise, LOL, to the 69th power race to the 420th power. In 2005, there was 12 priests in the Catholic Church that performed exorcisms. Now there's 125 priests in the Catholic Church. Speciality, insecurity, and the people that have, again, the bottom level of fucking maturity, people in, the rural South, or just in any religious affiliation, or no religious affiliation at all, they're going to latch onto any ontology they can, which is typically biblical type weird shit, and then they're just going to still try to learn and gain attention in the group of people. So people learn demonic voices. It's like a fucked up way of learning to sing. It's like, I can't actually sing, so I want to have this edgy weirdo like the emo kids in high school. I'm going to look different to fit in, and I'm really actually profoundly illiterate, so now I'm possessed. And it's just like they buy into it. Like it's like an actor playing a role, but they actually are so primitive they just kind of buy into it. So actors, being possessed is not a real fucking thing. And he talks about like the demons opening up and getting into you. It's like, oh yeah, that might be your father. Like Padre, the father at church, he opened up your butthole and got into you. But no demons. So maybe that was a demon. Yeah, the Catholic Church, those people that don't hide pedophiles everywhere. Right, spotlight. Alright, that's enough. This video is probably pretty long. A couple quick stories, because it happens again. Just a language one. So sitting outside the other day drinking some beer, I don't know, it's 4:30, and a young salesman comes by. To me, I don't know, maybe of some Indian descent, but certainly sounded like a native American English speaker. And he's just selling some, pest control for like wasp or bees or stuff that's in your gutters or in your yard or something. So he's giving me this pitch, and again, super fine. I don't mind any pitch stuff at all. Didn't need the service, didn't get it, but we're sitting out there, and he's like, showing me what he's gonna do or like what he's trying to sell me, and he's like, we'll treat your yard in your eaves. Eaves. I think that's what he said. EVES, EAVES maybe, but he said eaves. And I'm literally sitting there like, dude, you lost me. What's an eave? And he's like, what do you call them? And I said, gutters? And he's like, oh yeah, gutters. So if anyone knows is there any language out there that calls gutters eaves? And what language is that? Because the dude, he said, might have had some skin tonality to him, like maybe Southeast Asia, maybe India area, which India is in Southeast Asia, I believe. Yeah, India's not a continent. But he looked maybe a little slight Indian descent, but certainly sounded like a native American English speaker. So anyone out there know what language calls gutters eaves, like the drain spouts on your house? I ordered stromboli from Flyers Pizza on Wagner Road yesterday. So this place has been slapping. I left him a good review, 5 out of 5 stars on Google reviews. Stromboli's been slapping like a motherfucker. So I called up to order some stromboli last night. And I literally said, because I'm on my phone, and I've ordered off my cell phone, or online before. So I'm literally just calling the store. It's a local store, so I'm not doing it through an app or anything. And I call them, and our conversation goes like this. They go, hello, Wagner's Pizza. And I go, hello, I want to place an order for delivery. And then they ask you for your address, give them my address, and I was just like, do you know what my order is? And the guy literally, again, condescendingly starts chuckling at me like, yeah, dude, I know what your order is. But I didn't say that, I didn't say my name yet. It's not like I'm out over there, like, oh, do you know who Brad Boas is? I ordered online, and you have my service address, and I'm on my cell phone, so I can't look at your menu, so if you have my previous order, I'll just get that one again. But he immediately starts chuckling at me, like, oh yeah, dude, yeah, I'm gonna remember your order. And I'm like, I didn't mean that. I mean, you have my orders on file, you have my phone number and my address on file, I think, so you just have the previous order pulled up there. So again, just try to order a fucking stromboli, man. And some whacked out dude, there's always another generation of 18 to 25-year-olds that don't fucking know how to think for 5 seconds. Let me leave this third world filthy fucking country. It is terrible here. Ordering stromboli, basically the whole fucking store, but it's just again, I was saying, do you have, because I've ordered online before. So it's like on the apps, if I ordered on the Chipotle app, it says order the same thing again, I just press the whole same thing and order the same thing again. So I'm just wondering if they have it on file, because I'm not actively looking on the menu because I'm on my cell phone. Oh no, dude, why would I know your order? You wouldn't, but you might have it saved on your computer, and I'm not looking at your menu. That's where I was going with it. But there's always another generation of 18 to 25-year-olds that can't fucking think about anything besides themselves coming and trying to pay their $10,000 back. So I'm still being profoundly and extensively tortured. There is nothing I can do. There is nowhere I can go. There is no one I can call. I'm going to be tortured until the day that I'm fucking dead, because there is no fucking laws. There is no humanity. There is no decency. $16 million settlement for seeing crash plane photos. I go through the most profound emotional duress every single day for real, all day. It's all I do. It's all I've ever done. Profound torture. Enough people commit enough crime in a large group, they don't feel responsibility for anything, and it continues to go on. It's just going to get worse for everybody else, and fuck you. So thanks for watching. See you next time.